I was thinking about putting the podcast on pause because it's about $1,500 a month to produce a podcast. And I don't sell sponsorships. I'm not selling a product. There's no revenue associated with this passion project of mine. So, anyways, while I was away, I was like, okay, do I want to continue?
Hello, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Alday Townsend, your host. This podcast is for doers, dreamers, and those trying to decide what's next. I, along with amazing guests, will be sharing stories of success, failure, and what's to come. Thanks for tuning in.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. Alday Townsend here, your host. I just want to say thank you to all those that have been tuning in to the podcast. So grateful for all of you. If you're new to the podcast has been running since 2022, and I should say, have really enjoyed doing the podcast. So the podcast features guests. It also features quickies where basically I just come on and talk between 10 and 20 minutes. So that is what today's episode is. I am doing a mid-year update. So just bringing everyone up to speed with what's been happening personally and professionally. The podcast does feature a lot of personal development along with professional development as well. So if you are a CEO or a CHO, there's always something that you can benefit from tuning into today's episode or listening to any of them. I want to say that I love the past 3 guest episodes. It featured Allison, Holly, and Genesis, and they're all amazing women. They all live here in Sarasota, Florida, where I live as well. And the conversations were so great. I mean, we were talking about health, we're talking about mind, we're talking about parenting, we're talking about self-care, we're talking about leadership, we were talking about personal development as well, and really creating the life that you desire and how to get there. It was really interesting when Allison was talking about, for parents, showing up 30 means you're a great parent. And I know parents that are there like 80 and 90% and they feel like I'm not a good parent. So if you are a parent, I would definitely encourage you to listen to Allison's episode. If you are a parent as well, I would encourage you to listen to Holly's, especially if you have younger children that are dealing with breathing problems, health issues. There's a lot we talked about when it comes to cranial sacral therapy as well, and how so many things that we're doing are actually constricting the body and all this research and things that we find out later. So I would definitely recommend those 2 episodes. And of course, I just have so much love for Genesis. So if you are out there and you're really wanting to make a change in your life, she talks a lot about intention and scheduling and really dreaming and visualizing the life you want, and then steps to help you get to those. So once again, those were just recent guest episodes that were dropped. I dropped a couple solo episodes talking about like the summer season and what that means and protecting the things that you planted earlier this year. So, just lots of greatness happening, lots of great conversations, a lot of questions too that will spark maybe a move, or maybe they will trigger you, or maybe they will encourage you as well. So, definitely continue listening. Today's podcast, like I said, I'm just giving like a little update of what's happening along with the podcast. So I'm just returning from 3 weeks vacation. For those that maybe listened in May, I took the whole month of May off of work, went to Bora Bora, Tahiti. Really amazing trip with my husband and my aunt and uncle, and it was just absolutely amazing. So if you have a desire to go there, I would definitely put it on your bucket list. It is expensive, so you will definitely need to plan for your budget. We stayed at some pretty nice places. I would say the Four Seasons and Bora Bora is phenomenal. What's unique about those islands is they all have these reefs that are on the outside of them, which is from like the volcanoes. It makes that water really, really blue and crisp, and the snorkeling was phenomenal. However, they need to do more on reef conservation, I believe, and like making sure people are wearing reef safe sunscreen and not over snorkeling, because there was a lot of areas that I'm sure 15, 20 years ago were absolutely beautiful. Hawaii does a really great job with the reef conservation. But yeah, Bora Bora was amazing. And just the fact that you can take a month off of work and know that you have a team you can rely on in our busiest month. Like, I have to say, I'm so proud of our team. They really took a lot of ownership, and it is a time of stress, but it's also a time for them leveling up, for them counting on each other, working through challenges, but also figuring out what are they good at, what are they not good at, what is better suited for other people. So I always feel like there is an opportunity for growth anytime that I'm not there. So, and then we kicked off summer camp, which June summer camp was phenomenal. We've got like 30 team members ranging and from our high school students to our seasoned team members that executed a phenomenal June. The performances were spectacular. We welcomed a lot of teachers from the school system as well within Music Compound. So that's always great for training and encouraging our teachers and teaching them really great tools. Most of our instructors work with small groups and they also work a lot with private lessons. And so when you have the teachers coming in from the school system and with a background in education, they're bringing toolkits for classroom management. So redirecting energy, redirecting the bad child, making sure the one that's really not engaged gets engaged. So it's always a great learning opportunity for them. So summer camp was great. And then we're closed the whole week of June, July 4th, which was on a Saturday. So we closed the 26th. It's a great time for our team to really recharge, rest, really just go and travel, explore. Some of our teachers in June work, I would say, triples. So they're working morning camp, afternoon camp, and they're also working the private lessons as well. So they're making more money, obviously, because they're working more hours. But having that built-in time mid-year where your team can just relax and recharge and it's a built-in time off, I would say is super powerful. A lot of us come back recharged, and many of them did as well. I ventured for the past 2 weeks to Georgia to Dahlonega area. It's where my mom lives. It's about an hour and a half north of Atlanta. So if you live near the Atlanta area or you want like a really great weekend trip, I would highly recommend Dahlonega. There's lots of hiking, waterfalls, rivers, wineries, breweries, really great restaurants as well. And the scenery is so beautiful. Had the opportunity to spend some time with my niece who lives up there and have some really good quality time. By the end of the week, or 10 days, I think I was there for, she had created a vision board, got a resume on Indeed, and my mom just called and said, hey, she applied for a job. And that just makes me so happy. I think having a job at such a young age is so powerful. You learn so many great skills. You learn what kind of person you want to be, what kind of career you want to have. There's challenging. And then you also, I really feel like, create some internal drive and grit that many kids today that aren't working do not have. She also understands the value of money, and she's also understanding that she can't be driving all around and wasting her gas money. So, yeah, so I would highly recommend to Lonica. Something else that happened while I was there was we went to Walmart, which I don't usually go to Walmart. I don't know if that sounds snotty or not, but I don't usually go to Walmart. But we went to a health food store that was right next door, and I needed to get these breathe right strips or mouth tape, is what actually I went there for. Which, if you've been on some of my episodes, you may have known that I'm dealing with this like whole health journey when it comes to breathing. I don't use my nose to breathe because number one, I had a deviated septum and one nostril is closed and only use one nostril like 20. And so when I was at my mom's, I was having a really hard time sleeping. And like my mouth was like open. Like I'm sure I could win an award for mouth breather of the year. Anyways, it was so painful. My jaws were hurting. I was like, I really just need to take my mouth shut. And so at the health food store, they said, oh, go to Walmart and you can get these little strips. And so they look like lips and there's like a little hole. And I've been wearing them and I really think it's helping me with sleeping. I am seeing, in addition to doing the mouth things, I am seeing a myofascial or fascia doctor. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, with strengthening the tongue and then also with helping with breathing and breathing through my nose and not so much through my mouth because this was impacting like oxygen and cardiovascular health and all those things. So I went to Walmart, get back to that point. I went to Walmart to get these mouth tape things and I stumbled across like this little halter top thing that was super, super cute and it was all 100% organic cotton. So the brand is Free Assembly. I literally got all these cute tanks for $6 at Walmart and they're all 100% organic cotton, which I am leaning towards more linen, 100% cotton, hemp, more organic fabrics, getting rid of anything that's polyester, which really stinks because so many things that are polyester and spandex and all the other things are so cute. However, they're not good for your body. So slowly but surely, I'm making those changes, and it is, impacting the wardrobe and the overall look because linen wrinkles so easily. But I am moving towards that. We have moved a lot of our just cleaning products, our sheets, everything has been changing over the past like 2 years to remove the amount of toxins and things that are impacting our health. There's so much research, there's so much out there. I'm known now as, I guess, crunchy, which I think is hilarious. Part of that is because, like, pretty much we only eat like organic meats and vegetables and all of that. I also stopped wearing deodorant like 3 or 4 months ago. I had a breast scan and there was like a lump thing. And one of my doctors was like, "What kind of deodorant are you using?" So I stopped wearing that deodorant. I took some iodine pills as well for a whole month prior to the I think I had an MRI where they did a scan as well. Anyways, turns out there was nothing. So basically, my doctor thinks that a lot of it was just getting clogged up in these ducts. And so I have tried so many green, organic, non toxic deodorants, and none of them would work. I actually smelled worse. So now I just don't wear deodorant, which is phenomenal. So if you're thinking about not wearing deodorant, I would encourage you to do so. I would also encourage you to make sure you're getting into a sauna session or you're having some way to release those toxins every few days, just because some of the foods that we do eat and stress and other things, you want to make sure you're releasing those bodies. But, anyways, back to Walmart. If you don't shop at Walmart, I want to encourage you to go at least get these little halter top tanks. They're adorable, $6, all organic cotton. And if anybody else is going through like health, or if you're like just wanting to focus on it, I would definitely look at some of my previous podcasts that have to do with health because I was several years ago on a whole gut health journey, which I was able to get rid of a lot of overgrowth of yeast and bacteria and boost up my good bacteria to where my immune system could get back to working properly because it was compromised so much. I've also done a lot of testing, allergy testing, where they take the blood and then removing a lot of foods that my body was sensitive over the years as well. And then also, I have like a hormone replacement doctor that's helping with like thyroid, testosterone, progesterone, all those things. I'm pretty sure that's on one of my podcasts as well. Or if you want, you can just message me if you have any of these things going on. I literally am like so focused on the health, like the mind, the body, and the spirit. But my priority right now is really breathing and making sure that I can breathe properly. So all that back to Dahlonega. If you have not been there, I would definitely put it on your list. You can do weekend hikes too, where there's this really great hostel called Lenfoot Inn. Would check that out. After Dahlonega, I flew over to Nashville to go spend a couple days with my aunt. And the reason I bring that up is I want to tell you about Franklin, Tennessee. It's so cute. The downtown is phenomenal. Lots of shopping, lots of food, lots of distilleries, lots of wineries, lots of breweries. And Franklin is where all of the country stars live. I drove by Carrie Underwood's house, which is super cool. And then we decided to take some back road. And we were driving down this road and we're like, famous people must live here. And turns out Alan Jackson, Chris Stapleton, Lainey Wilson. I don't know. It was called Millionaires Row, and we had no idea what road we were on. And then there's this little area called Leaper's Fork, which super cute. You must visit that as well. So if you're looking for outdoors, really cool places, check out Delana and check out Leaper's Fork in Franklin, Tennessee. We also did go to Banff, Canada the last week of June as well. Yeah, I've been gone for 3 weeks and just was back to work yesterday for the first time in 3 weeks. Banff is phenomenal. We stayed outside of Banff in some area that I can't remember at the moment, but I would recommend Canmore. Canmore is in between Calgary and Banff, but it's closer to Banff. So it's going to be, I think, less expensive than actually staying in Banff. The town is super cute. Once again, great little coffee shops, bookstores, places you can eat. The scenery is beautiful. It's not as packed as downtown Banff, but Lake Louise is a must visit along with Emerald Lake. We also went to a few other places that were just as beautiful. So I'm going to one day put all these itineraries up for people to see and visit because they're just so great. And obviously, knowing where to go, where not to go, and what time to go to places is absolutely key. But if you are thinking that you want to go to Switzerland, but maybe you don't want to fly to Switzerland and because of the cost of it over there, I would definitely consider going to the Canadian Rockies. If you don't go to Banff, there's also a place called Jasper National Park. It's north. That is also beautiful. There is an airport that you can fly into that would be closer than I think flying into Calgary. But the Canadian Rockies are absolutely stunning. The lakes are turquoise, literally turquoise. I might have posted some stuff on my social, so check out the social. So yeah, so personally, doing really great. I mean, the fact that I was able to take all of May off and came back to work for 4 weeks and took another 3 weeks off, I would say is like a dream come true. We've got I have one more little vacation come up to with my niece for her graduation, and then probably something between Christmas and the holidays. So I probably will have taken maybe like 10 weeks of vacation this year, which is phenomenal. And I'm just really, really grateful. It definitely takes having a solid team in place, having systems, having people that you can count on, and having people that are totally loyal to the mission and to the success of the company and to their role as well within the company. So definitely really proud of the team. We added a new team member, Grant, this past June. Grant was a previous student of Music Compound in 16 and 17. He worked for us in 2018, graduated high school, went to college, got his bachelor's, then got his master's. And at our 10-year anniversary time, we hosted a alumni event. So we wanted to welcome back any students from the past 10 years that wanted to come and perform. And Grant showed up to perform with his girlfriend at the time, which I was like, I know her. And her name is Nicole. And so they met at Music Compound during his time there back in 2018. And so Grant was on the verge of graduating. He mentioned, hey, I would love to have a job in finance. I wasn't really hiring anyone for finance. But as we were talking, he wanted to really mirror his love and passion for music and finance together. And according to him in his 3-year plan, when he was in one of his classes, a professor challenged them to write to their future self, like where would they be in 3 years? And he wrote about having a role at Music Compound. And that just touched my heart. And I was like, oh my gosh, we've got to figure out a way to get you involved back with the company. And so, after many discussions and understanding what his skills were and where we needed to really focus, we created a position for him. So, he joined us in June, and really, his focus really is helping us with profitability and understanding the models and understanding the pricing structure. So, I've been running the company for 10 years. Not with a finance background, never with a finance person on our team. And as we're projecting growth, we're also looking at profitability of each and every single program. And we're looking at like what the price structure is. And some of our pricing has been the same for like 4 or 5 years. We have not increased sub pricing and we need to increase that pricing. I mean, our rent is now double than it was a year or two. The cost per hour per team member is anywhere $2 to $4 higher than it was. We've actually hired higher skilled individuals as well, so they're coming in at a higher rate. And so the payroll is stacked. And in some senses, some people want to be paid even more, which I would love to pay people more. That's the desire and the goal. But in order to do that, we really have to understand the profitability of every program and how much do we need to increase the pricing? What's the opportunity and availability, especially when we're looking at groups. So if there's a group class and we're only selling 4 spots, but we have 6 spots, those two people is a difference of like profit and loss. And so our team understanding that and how that is a ripple effect is really what we're going to be diving into. So I'm excited to have a Grant join our team and assist with this information. He loves numbers, he loves spreadsheets. I love seeing numbers in a bank account, but understanding that and really breaking it down and understanding the information and then translating that to team members so we can make decisions based on the numbers is really where we're going to in the future. And I'm excited about that as well. So the growth of Music Compound is continually to evolve, and we have been really evaluating what's working, what's not working. And I'm excited in our latest planning meeting, we're talking about Disneyfying. So, really creating an experience that's magical, that's memorable. Yeah, for the most part, like being on stage has been the massive win, right? Getting people to boost their confidence and People that thought they would never get on stage are getting on stage, and we have done a wonderful job doing that. But we really want to enhance the experience from like the first time we talk to a team member to getting on stage within 3 to 4 months and all the little small things that happened in between there. We also have been very focused on like the broader vision of the company and focusing on like the amazing people that we have working and then the bands. But there's so many other people within the organization and that are members that could use a little bit more spotlight. So there's a couple things we're going to be doing in I would say the new school year that really elevates the experience from a client perspective, which I think will number one help with retention, it'll help with word of mouth, and overall it's just going to help with how each single person that actually walks through the door feels. And at the end of the day, we want them to feel inspired, we want them to feel connected, we want to encourage them to collaborate with other people. So I believe some of the things that we're going to be doing is really going to impact that as well as the company and as we are growing. So our goal was to hit 500 members by December of 2025. We have yet to hit that number. We were at 475 by the end of May. And then with summer drops, we dropped all the way down, I think, to like 345. So we had a loss of 100 recurring memberships. And then our summer camp for June was great. July, we're at 50% capacity. So we've got like a $60,000 deficiency just June and July. So that is also sparking a lot of the analytics and the financial overview and like really leaning into what's working, what's not working, what's profitable, what's not profitable, and helping us determine what that price structure is going to be in the future. And we all know that the economy is kind of hard right now. You know, a lot of people are canceling things that they don't really need. Families are really having to ask themselves and their kids, what is it that you really want? We can't do everything anymore. There's been a lot of layoffs as well. So, you know, we're still trying to find that balance of like, how much can we charge, still offer a really great program and pay our teachers more and be profitable? And then what's too much? Like what's going to be the threshold where people are going to stop buying from us? There's a lot more competition. There's a lot of other music schools and they're at a fraction of the price of us. So, you know, we're still in this I feel like it's not like a hurricane because I don't want to compare it to a hurricane even though we're in hurricane season, but we're still trying to figure out what's going to work and what isn't working. And then how do we continually grow because we do want to hit to 600 members by the end of 2026. I definitely think it's possible if we were to get back to 475 at the end of August, get all of our clients back, and then we do all of our enrollment for our future ones. I think we could be at 550 by end of September. And then we just got to recruit 50 more people, which is very common to recruit. However, it's also about retaining those members and keeping them engaged and keeping them growing and keeping them continuing the music compound along with our team members, which we have a lot of opportunity right now. And so we're trying to hire more teachers. We have a couple contracts with schools that we need to fulfill. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. And I'm really hopeful and I really believe that we're going to be able to hit that 600 member mark. We need 40 team members to make that happen. The team that we have right now is super, super solid, super engaged. Yeah, we have one or two people that we probably need to replace and we're going to replace by the end of the year. But they're just not aligned with the mission. They're not connected to the mission. They're not as a compound for the experience of the student and for themselves. It's more about just them. And I understand paying bills, but we also want people that want to be there for the right reasons and that want to continue growing with the company. And we have this one individual who has been burned by previous employers and literally does not trust us. No matter how much we have said to this person, like, we value, we want you to work here, they will not budge. They do not want to put all their eggs in one basket. They've been screwed over by an employer previously. And what's unfortunate is that we have a lot of team members that have been with us for a very, very long time. But unfortunately, just not the right fit for us. So we'll be making some changes there in the future. But overall, MC is great. When it comes to the laundromat, that has been a shift with the lack of Canadians coming to the area, along with the amount of people being deported. So our laundromat, 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We do have a woman that works there, does our wash, dry, fold. And then we also have our weekend people. And obviously we go there too, but I think I increased our prices in I think December of 2025. But on the weekends, when I was there working, and we were there every one day a week on the weekends, I had so many amigos. I have not seen an amigo in probably a year. I mean, literally, we had so many construction workers, and there would be like 5 to 10 of them every single weekend during just the time frame that I was there, which was like only 2 or 3 hours. So you can imagine the lack of business that I'm having just from that. And then with the Canadians not coming and visiting and not using the Airbnbs, this not has only impacted our industry, but it's impacted a lot of hospitality, tourism, Airbnbs, and all that stuff as well. So yeah, it's not as strong as it was. And we're like thinking, okay, are we putting card readers in? There's a lot of things that we want to do, but the cost is really, really expensive. Plus our rent went up. There's other things. So anyways, still making money, just it's not as great as it was before. We've definitely been impacted by the change of economy and things that are happening politically and like beyond that as well. So, still a great business if you can get into it. Once again, it's going to require you to have a lot of cash up front. If you have any questions about it, you can contact me. Okay, so another thing I wanted to update on is the podcast. So, this has been a passion project of mine since 2022. I started my podcast because of the book. So, one of the people that I was in touch with were like, Jenny, it'd be really great if you had a podcast, start a podcast, have some guests. You can incorporate some of the guests within your book as well. So, anyways, that was the main reason of starting the podcast. And then I loved having conversation with people. I learned so much from having guests on as well. It gives me an outlet to be authentic, to share my philosophy. If you know me personally, you know I love to talk and I love to offer my opinion. My husband calls me a solutions advisor. So, anyways, I love having this outlet. So, when I was contemplating really what's next for the next school year and where am I going to be putting my time and my energy and looking at all of the cost associated with the podcast, I was thinking about putting the podcast on pause, which, is always an option because it's about $1,500 a month to produce a podcast. And I don't sell sponsorships. I'm not selling a product. There's no revenue associated with this passion project of mine. So, anyways, while I was away, I was like, okay, do I want to continue? Yes, I love the outlet. Yes, I love having it. Plus, I have some amazing guests that have approached about being on the podcast that I would love to have conversations with. I would love to put on the platform. So I'm in this like redesign phase right now. So we may drop a podcast in August, but we may be holding off until September as we rebrand. I love the Stroke It name. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into that. But we'll be changing the name, and a lot of the episodes will be solo episodes speaking about one concept, one idea, along with some guest podcast as well. Still be dropping 2 per month and keeping the topics light and fresh and something that will connect with all of you. If you have any suggestions as far as the podcasts you love listening to or topics that really, really interest you, bring them to me. I really have enjoyed the last couple sessions of talking about health and talking about new ways of thinking, like when it comes even from like parenting or even comes from like health, like there's so much knowledge out there that we have not been maybe focused on or able to access, or we've had like this old way of thinking. So, really wanting to bring some of those individuals into the mix on the podcast because I love kids and I want to bring more parenting aspects to the podcast in the future as well. So, really focusing on development personally, professionally, but maybe more focused within the home and how we can create the lives that we want with our families and beyond as well. So I think that's the direction we're going to be going into. Obviously, I'm so passionate about business and I have some other things that are on the fire and wanting to do in the future. So, I'll be possibly dropping some of that stuff, but then also bringing people on board that are really skilled in those topics to bring some more awareness to what I'm thinking about in the future. So, as you can tell, lots going on, but that's not surprising with me. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any ideas for the podcast, send them to me. If you have any questions about the health things that I mentioned, contact me. If you have any interest in going to Canada, the Georgia region I talked about, the Tennessee region I talked about, let me know. Once again, I was just in Tahiti and Bora Bora, and we were just in Switzerland, and we've been all over Italy too. So if you're thinking about going to those places, I can help you out with the itineraries. And yeah, if there's anything I can help you with, please reach out to me. You can also follow me on social. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being back with you in September. And I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in and wishing you a great day. I'm sure there's other things that I wanted to mention that I'm forgetting about. But I think that's enough for now. Wishing you a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in to today's podcast. I want to inspire you to send this podcast to 5 of your friends that you think would benefit.